Welcome back from San Francisco. You know, tonight reporting on attempts by former Vice President Dick Cheney to undermine current President Barack Obama has become sort of a journalistic beat unto itself. It's almost a nightly franchise for our show. We were thinking about naming it and giving it a cute little animation, but it's about Dick Cheney, and this is a family program, sort of, so we're letting it go for now. Today's chronicle of Cheney-Obama subversion calls for a trip in the Rachel Maddow Show flashback machine, patent pending. The day was January 20th, 2009, Inauguration Day. But there were other important things happening that day far, far away from Washington, like the fact that Israel was pulling troops out of Gaza that day after a brutal 22-day fight in Gaza. Today, 70 days after Inauguration Day, there is new reporting about the events leading up to January 20th in Israel and Gaza. The reports are from Seymour Hersh at The New Yorker. According to Mr. Hersh, quote, the Obama transition team helped persuade Israel to end the bombing of Gaza and to withdraw its ground troops before the inauguration. And while the Obama transition team was trying to convince the Israelis to end the Gaza war, Dick Cheney, the lame duck vice president, was trying to convince the Israelis that they shouldn't bother with the new guy, that the new American president would be bad news for their country. Quote, Cheney, who worked closely with the Israeli leadership in the lead-up to the Gaza war, portrayed Obama to the Israelis as a pro-Palestinian who would not support their efforts. And in private, he disparaged Obama, referring to him at one point as someone who would never make it in the major leagues. Obama will never make it in the major leagues, not like Dick Cheney. What is that? It's like hail on the chief instead of hail to the chief. Two things here. First of all, the Vice President of the United States was actively working to undermine the presidency that was about to succeed him with foreign governments. Second of all, there's a little bit of a silver lining here. Apparently, Vice President Dick Cheney was sort of bad at that. Obama wanted Israel to call a ceasefire and withdraw its troops in time for his inauguration. And if you remember, back to January 20th, that is in fact what he got. Joining us now is Barton Gellman, Pulitzer Prize-winning Washington Post reporter and author of the book Angler, The Cheney Vice Presidency. Mr. Gellman, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight.
My pleasure.
Since leaving office, Dick Cheney has said that President Obama is making the country less safe. Now there's this report that he talked down Obama to the Israelis. You are kind of a Cheneyologist. I have to ask you, if this reporting is borne out, would this behavior by the vice president surprise you?
Some yes, some no. It's not at all a surprise that Dick Cheney was in favor of Israel prosecuting the war with Hamas as long and as hard as possible. He felt the same way about Israel's war in Lebanon against Hezbollah a couple of years earlier. And he would say, I think, that if anybody is crossing a line, it's the president-elect, not yet in office, trying to conduct foreign policy, that Bush and Cheney are entitled right up until noon on Inauguration Day to be in charge of that. Whether he really disparaged Obama to Israelis as pro-Palestinian, it doesn't quite ring true for me. On the one hand, he is very happy to make his criticism public in an unusual way for a vice president after leaving office. But on the other hand, that doesn't sound quite like him. Frankly, it sounds, as someone who covered Israel for a few years, it sounds a lot more like an Israeli official spinning what Cheney said about Obama.
Why would, in the politics here, somebody who's covered Israel and somebody who's covered Dick Cheney, why would Israeli officials want this to be known about Cheney, would you think?
It would be less about Cheney than about Obama. It would be a sort of a shot across the bow. They're saying, A, we know that Obama had some trouble with American Jews who worried that he was not pro-Israeli. And B, we hear this guy's pro-Palestinian. Let's see what he's got. It's a bit of a challenge to Obama, I think, on Israel's part.
However, that would only work if people thought what Dick Cheney might say about Obama would be credible. And in this case, I feel like Dick Cheney's comments about the Obama presidency since he left office in particular have said, at least made a lot more news for what people think about Dick Cheney than what people think about Barack Obama. I have been surprised that Dick Cheney has made so many public comments as vice president and that he has been so critical of the new administration. Did you see that coming? Have you been surprised by that?
I guess I am surprised. I'm often surprised. I like being surprised. That's why I like being a reporter. Cheney gave about twice as many exit interviews as Bush did. And after Inauguration Day, Bush shut up, which is traditionally what ex-presidents do, and it's also what ex-vice presidents normally do. Cheney has come out and continued to defend his policies and to criticize any departure from them. I think it's just another sign of the vehemence with which he holds his views. It's a central theme of Angler that he's a true believer, that he really does believe the things he's saying, and he thinks he understands that the world is a dangerous, dark place that needs tough policies in response, that he understands that better than other people do, and that he wants to keep an oar in the water, which is one of his favorite expressions.
Do you get the sense that he might be constructing a sort of defense in the anticipation that he might either be formally charged with something at some point related to his war on terror policies, or that he might need to defend his legacy if he does see any hope of the policies that he's so publicly endorsed being carried on by any future administration, let alone this one that he seems to dislike so much?
I think that Cheney does not care very much what we think of him now, and I don't think that he thinks that people like me are going to define his legacy, or, all due respect, Rachel, people like you either. He thinks that historians decades from now are going to think he was right. And what he's talking about now, his purposes tend to be much more tactical, much more immediate. He is looking to plant seeds in the public debate. And if I were guessing, and here I am guessing, I'd say that he is hoping to put some things on the record that will enable him later to say, I warned that we were weakening our defenses. I warned that we were exposing ourselves to more danger. And if another attack comes, it would set the stage for, he thinks, a restoration of the policies that he supports.
Remarkable that a man so known for his promotion of the largest conception of executive power in modern American history is deciding to get there by being the first modern vice president immediately out of office to spend his time disparaging the current occupant of the office. He is the most fascinating person in politics and has been for a very long time. Barton Gellman, thank you for helping us understand him. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Barton Gellman is a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter for The Washington Post. He's the author of the most recent biography of Cheney, which is called The Angler.